everybody. This is Dianne. Welcome to Biters. I am joined tonight by
Marnell
and
it's Phil.
Yay! From Capes and Lunatics.
Triple threat.
Right, exactly.
Phil, we are honored to have you with us.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, what I did there? I worked on that one a little bit.
And I just want to say before we get started that Phil and Marnell are now currently in a hot and heavy bet about Black Panther versus Infinity Wars. And I was honored, to be a witness to the terms of the bet. Or at least half of the terms of the
half
bet.
Of the terms. I don't know what my side is yet. But, so I am in full belief that Black Panther will be the bigger of the two for box office total.
How? Infinity War includes Black Panther and everyone else. I don't see how.
Because Black Panther is an Afrocentric superhero movie in woke times.
and Infinity War is gonna be all that plus everyone else, because I think at least part of it happens in Wakanda. Thank you.
So I have to ask you, does that mean Denai Guerrera has a time in Infinity Wars as well?
I don't know.
Because she was freaking amazing.
The what I'm staring at for IMDb, she's right there she's like right behind Black Panther and they're behind Captain America. So yeah.
Sweet.
Someone get this man a shield. Yes.
I do have to say that I am excited for Infinity Wars, and I hope it does well and everything, but I think Black Panther is just hitting the right notes at the right time. So
we'll see.
When you have Kickstarters for young people in urban areas to go see the movie, yeah, I think it's gonna be Infinity Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say Avengers Infinity War, though. That's a lot of our for a lot of us, that's our Super Bowl or sports ball,
So I just want to say that I actually kind of want to see you lose the bet, Marnell, because the stakes are so good.
Okay, so I will not be butthurt if I lose the bet. Because the terms are pretty good on Phil's side. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to ask of Phil, but Phil, what are you asking me to do?
I'm going to find at least part of a passage of. First, I said the Sarah Palin speech, and I wanted you to read that, but I don't know. Now you're getting into my head. I might have to find like the dialogue that Tina Fey did as Sarah Palin and have you read some of that.
Well, you could go buy my book, Going Rogue, and I could read from that. Love it.
Oh my God!
I kind of want to do it anyway now.
You're really good at that, and it's actually a little frightening. I just would like to put that out there.
I mean, we could do that if we do this round table. I mean, we might not have the final totals. You could do it during the round table.
The really sad thing is now I'm going to be standing in the shower in the mornings practicing my Sarah voice. Oh, this is awful, but it's great. I love it.
I do too. This is the best.
Or I just come up with something original, like, about the movie, like Sarah Palin talking about Wakanda or something.
I could totally review Black Panther.
Oh, you should review Black Panther as Sarah Palin. That would be awesome. Except you should really review it the way that Sarah Palin would review it.
I was going to say we might have to up the rating on the podcast because it might not be... what's the word I want?
She doesn't swear in public. She doesn't swear, but when she and Todd have drunken meth parties at their houses in Wasilla.
I don't think she would use the correct terminology for things.
No, she probably wouldn't. But you'll have to figure that one out. You'll have to figure out a workaround.
Yeah. Because I personally do not want to offend anybody or everybody. That would be awful. Because I'm sure I could offend everybody. But I would be doing a character, much like, Tina Fey or something like that. So,
oh my God, you're Alaska's own Tina Fey?
If you could see my hair right now, it is kind of Tina Fey, Sarah Palin.
Oh my God, you almost made me spew a nighty-night tea out of my nose.
Now I have to send you both a selfie when we get off.
So, by the way, everybody, this is Biters.
Biters.
Yeah, come on, we lost a major character this week.
Yeah, we did. We shouldn't be laughing so hard, but we all kind of knew it was coming.
Forget that.
Yeah.
So
poor fictional character.
I know, right? It was really sad, though. I have to admit, I cried. And not only did I cry when the first time I watched it, when there were people around me, including people who were not Walking Dead fans, but I cried again when I watched it the other night.
So I didn't cry at all. I'm like dead inside or something.
Well, we knew that, but I almost did.
That's not entirely true. I mean, my pharmacist does supply some emotions for me.
God. So, Phil, as the father of a little boy, it had to have been kind of painful there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. As like a parent, that's like your worst nightmare. That you're gonna like outlive your kids like that, especially something tragic like that.
After having outlived your wife.
Ugh.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh Lord, his wife is gone. Now his son is gone, and all he has left
over.
All he has left is Shane's baby.
Oh, brutal.
Yep. I knew we were going there.
I just hope Michonne does not die. It would be really bad if Michonne died.
Aren't we starting a new little bit in the show for gossip?
Yes, we are going to be starting the Whisperer's Corner tonight.
And there are whispers about Michonne leaving.
Oh, right, because of her success.
Yep.
But we're not there yet.
Everyone's getting success from this. So, we may just have a revolving cast of characters.
I hope for Chandler's sake he gets success from this as well. I hope he has just a great time being 18 and living in LA.
Yeah, definitely.
That Kid Rock song with Sheryl Crow, Run Off to LA, is in my head.
I think he should be able to get at least a few projects from this, because people will jump at the chance to say, look, we have Chandler Riggs from The Walking Dead.
Right.
Oh, God, did you see him on The Talking? Like he's still recognizable, but it's like, whoa, who is that?
I know, that's probably like the first time in like 8 years he had a haircut.
Yeah. It's like one of those dudes that you've never seen without their beard before, and all of a sudden they shave, and you're like, who are you?
So, Phil, since you're kind of the guest, although I think this may happen more and more, why don't you go first and give us your rating?
The rating, it was a pretty good story. Probably have to give it, what is it, out of 5?
Yeah.
Out of 5.
I probably have to give it 4.5 sticks dragging in the dirt.
Oh, very good.
I mean, it would probably even be closer to a 5, but I don't know if we really needed like a whole hour and a half.
It was a little long. Yeah.
Amen.
I'm there with you. It was a little bit long.
I mean, it's not, and then they're getting more and more frequent. It's not like, we get like an hour and a half episode once or twice a season. I mean,
right. It used to be a treat.
Seems like every other week.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, I mean, the hour and a half is fine, but it just seemed like they kept repeating the same dialogue in some parts. Like,
Or the digging.
Yes.
I'm like, enough with the digging. We get it. You're digging Carl's grave.
And
get it.
The digging was supposed to be tragic.
It seems like at least 3 separate times he had to tell Carl, yes, Carl, I'm going to make the world a better place. It's like, okay, then you just say that. You already say this a couple times. And...
Mm-hmm. I am right there with you.
So, Marnell, what was your rating then?
I'm right up there with Phil. I have this thing now where if I don't find a lot of good in the episode, I rate it really high. And if I find a lot of good in the episode, I rate it really low. And
what?
This just wasn't a great episode. So I think it was a 4.6. Selfies with a little sister.
Oh, my God.
See, like, so in this situation, I'm Judith, you're Carl, you're the one who's bit.
Oh, I see how you are. I see how you work.
When we podcasted together at your house, we took a selfie. And so when he took a selfie with Judith, I was just like, oh. But yeah, so I rated it a 4.6. I'm right there with you. It was too drawn out. Like it just, there was a lot that happened in this episode besides Carl dying, but they just kept going back to the trough. And I was just like, enough, we get it, you know?
Did that much really happen though? Because we got the story with Carl dying and we got the story, you know, at the kingdom. But I mean, that's all we got. I mean, you know, remember,
everyone's headed to Hilltop, and we found out Sadiq is kind of a doctor, you know, which we've been lacking. And we got an answer about old man Rick. I mean, a lot really did happen in the episode when you break it down.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, a lot happens every episode, but it seems like they could have told it in less than an hour and a half.
Or if you're going to do an hour and a half, pack more in there. I mean, we didn't see any Negan. I mean, Father Gabriel's been dying for how many episodes now? I lost my bet there.
We didn't see Father Gabriel's, we don't know about them.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't see any Oceanside. We didn't see any Hilltop.
We didn't see Maggie.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot happened, but there's a lot missing.
Well, so I almost gave it a 5. In fact, I had
of course you did.
I had a 5 written down, but then I went back and did the rewatch and I was like, I can't give it a 5. The pilot is still the 5 for me. So I gave it a 4.98 out of 5 eviscerations.
Oh, okay. So as a medical provider, am I correct in assuming that if I pulled somebody's intestines out, they would not just keel over dead? It would be a slow, agonizing, painful death, right?
So Husby and I talked about that because he said the same thing. And I'm like, he probably is not dead. He probably passed out from pain.
Okay. I will accept that answer.
I'm so glad. I'm really glad that my master's degree has served somewhere.
But I was just really, because I was like, that would surely get me off of you if you're going to pull my intestines out, you know, like we're not fighting anymore. But I definitely wouldn't be keeling over dead immediately.
So the other thing is you can have this thing called a vasovagal response, which is usually a response to stressful stimuli or pain. And it can actually go anywhere from slowing your heart rate down extremely low and dropping your blood pressure to, in some circumstances, stopping your heart. So there is the potential that he could have had a cardiac arrest from a vasovagal response. How do you like that answer?
Yeah. The pain could probably could it spike his blood pressure and make him stroke out or anything?
I would be more likely to see, I think you'd be more likely to see the blood pressure tank and have his heart stop.
So he had a bagel and drop dead. Okay.
He had a bagel and drop dead. I like that. Yes. That is exactly what happened.
This has been Post-Apocalyptic Medical Corner.
Well, moving from the medical corner, we do have a few numbers. So I did the numbers for how it's got to be because we haven't had a chance to do those. And it was 7.89 million same-day views, which is pretty close down to the end of season 1, which was a little shocking.
That's low, right?
Right.
Normally we're 11
I mean, it's still huge, but it's
yeah.
I mean, it's down from 20 million.
Well, I thought I saw an article online. It said it beat the closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics, but it's still one of the lowest mid-season premieres.
Yeah.
Honor.
Yeah.
Honor was a little higher. So same day views for Honor was 8.282 million live views. So it did beat out the closing ceremonies of the Olympics, but it still is in fairly low territory for Walking Dead.
Well, I mean, it's really difficult
but still
to compete with K-pop.
Well, the other thing is it's still gigantic when you compare it to any other TV show.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like there really is no basis of comparison because nothing compares to it.
Oh, now I have
So
a
you just
Prince
have to
song
compare
running
it to
through my
itself.
head. Prince and Sinead O'Connor, but let's see, going back to how it's got to be, they did have a really amazing gain in Live Plus 3. They had a 46% gain and went up to 11.5 million views. So the numbers are good, but the numbers are not like they were, let's say, season 4, season 5.
Do you think that has anything to do with how long the series has ran, or do you think it's the whole Glenn and Abraham's death was just too horrifying and people really did drop out of watching?
Can I just say yes?
Sure.
Because I think it's both.
And maybe people think that some of the storylines get dragged out, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think
we live in such a society where, like, you know, Netflix and Hulu, we get things released all at once and we can binge. So I think a lot of people don't like to do the week to week and they'll just wait till the season's over and binge it.
So you are exactly right. That was a point that was made. I did go ahead and listen to the Walker Stalker podcast, which was released the same night as the episode. And they made the point that people are accessing their media really differently. So you're still seeing big numbers if you push it out far enough.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the cusp of a millennial. I'm like really young Gen X or Y or what, like, and so I have the same feeling where like I really like to be able to binge watch. I'm having a really hard time watching our week to week shows because I'm just like, I am so used to just being able to like watch all of, you know, The Handmaid's Tale or something, you know, in 2 nights.
I still haven't done that. I still haven't watched that.
Season 2 looks good. Anyway.
Back to biters. So our writers were Matt Negrete. I probably always say his name wrong, and Channing Powell, and it was directed by Greg Nicotero. So I don't really feel like I need to belabor those.
Don't think so.
And then the title, I actually thought there were a few different things in the title. So it was Honor. And I mean, here's my take on it, and you guys tell me what you think. So first of all, Carl died with honor. He was asking Rick to honor him.
Did he though?
Yeah.
Well, he died saving Sadiq, so I mean, there's at least honor in that,
right?
Yeah, he died honoring Sadiq's mother. He wasn't saving Sadiq.
Okay, he died honoring his mother and Sadiq's mother, and he said that.
Okay.
So and he saved everybody in Alexandria.
I'm just saying that he could have gone out with a bang and taken out some saviors. I'm just saying.
I thought he did go out with a bang.
Right, exactly.
When I saw them digging the grave, I was like, I guess there's enough of them left for a grave.
Oh.
No, because I seriously thought he was going to I don't know, somebody was going to build a bomb all of a sudden, and he was going to walk out into a group of saviors and surrender and just like blow himself up when there was enough of them around. I thought he would go out, being some sort of hero that way. But
so that actually would have been kind of cool.
I was wrong.
Yay, I love somebody with sound effects.
No, I think it was too somber. They weren't going to like blow him up with a bomb.
Although it would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been cool, but
a girl can dream.
I was just wondering if Rick was going to have to, do it, or I think Carl did it himself. But
I loved what Carl said, which is, "I grew up."
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I think Carl grew up after he had to, shoot his own mother in the head.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. We're a bunch of sadists. We just actually laughed at the idea of Carl blowing his mother's head off.
I have a wonderful family.
That is awesome.
No, we're just gonna devolve into sound bites.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Oh.
So, did either of you have anything else that you wanted to say about the title?
I had nothing. Like, I was racking my brain, and granted, like we discussed before the podcast, I've been working really long hours, and like 7 days a week, and that actually is over today. So, but I'm starting a new job, so I'm totally stressed about that. So, but I was just like, I watched this episode twice, and I was like, I got nothing about honor. Like, I missed it.
I just wasn't sure if maybe it was talking about Morgan also. It's like, are you going to kill this guy or are you going to let him live? And maybe,
So, in my rotting potpourri, I have an observation about Morgan that kind of goes along with that. So don't let me forget.
All right.
Because I don't want to lose that, but I also don't want to reveal it. Don't want to throw all my cards out on the table right away.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, I didn't really have anybody for character of the week, featured character. Did either of you have anybody that you wanted to talk about?
No, we've talked about Carl. So.
Yeah, I think that's the big one of the week.
Yeah.
Which we knew was going to happen was Carl.
I mean, I do think I did just pull up the page for Henry, for the kid who plays Henry, and realized, and this had been pointed out before, I think Thomas O'Mara said it, but he's actually the little brother of the girl who played Sophia.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
which is so funny because when Carol was berating him for killing Gavin, I was just like, oh, look at the flowers, Henry.
Well, she does. She does seem to have this unfortunate thing where she attracts these little boys who end up with bad ends.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's a kid magnet. That is the weirdest thing. Kids love her.
She knows how to make cookies.
Right, out of anything. She could make cookies out of battery acid.
So is Henry going to be like our new Carl?
Yes.
So that is my bad.
Okay, so let's get into our good, bads, and uglies.
No. Let's do the Whisperer's Corner first.
Oh, okay.
So the Whisperer's Corner. First of all, Scott Gimple's promotion to Overseer of the Walking Dead universe. So I was thinking about this quite a bit after I listened to a couple of different Walking Dead podcasts this week, and it kind of makes sense when you think about the fact that it frees him up to write for Morgan, because one of the most hailed episodes ever is Clear, and Gimple wrote that. So I think that there is a possibility we'll be seeing Gimple do some more writing, and he'll be writing on Fear the Walking Dead. That's just me making a bold prediction. That's not really a rumor.
So do you think that he's doing it because he wants to pull Fear the Walking Dead from the gutter, or is it because Morgan's moving over, or why do you think it is?
So that is totally part of the gossip that I actually have, which is that I listen to Walker Stalkers, and they, of course, have some inside information because they're sponsored by Skybound, and they are just raving about how amazing season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead is going to be, which I can't really quite figure that out because you know that I hate...
Well, how big is the truck that hit Madison with?
Right? I mean, you guys know that I hate Watch It. And I don't know, but they're going to have to be awfully worthy to get Lenny James.
So, have they said yet? Is it? I know they're doing a time jump. Is it just a little bit ahead, or are they jumping the present day?
It sounds like it's going to be a really big time jump.
Yes. So, I don't know if you listened to the episode that we did with Thomas O'Mara where we kind of recapped the first half of season 8, but yes. There was a Walking Dead Explained on there was a Walking Dead Explained on YouTube. WalkingDeadExplained.com was the guy, and he had some really good in-depth videos about the timeline in Fear and the timeline in Prime. And they are, and I think it's been confirmed that they are doing the time jump where Morgan comes in Morgan's current time. So Fear will do about a 2-year time jump.
Which,
so
that just seems unfathomable to me. I wonder how they're going to handle that.
They're going to have to tell the story in flashback, which I loathe. I hate time jumps. That was one of my issues with this episode.
But
I just wonder.
Go ahead.
I mean, with a 2-year time jump, I mean, you could basically kill whatever characters you wanted who were on the show previously. Although it won't be Madison.
So for the listeners who maybe didn't listen to the recap episode, in Fear the Walking Dead, spoiler alert if you haven't watched, but you're probably not watching anyway. The dam explosion takes place the same day as the CDC explosion at the end of season 1 TWD Prime.
Which I still think is incredibly funny.
Right. It's like day 62 or 64 into the apocalypse. And we're in day 600 and something on Prime. So that gives you a little bit of kind of a backstory that, for the time jump. So, the way that Fear left off, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that time jump.
Unless they do your master plan, and this is, they're sending Morgan the Fear and the time jump and everything. So maybe in another season or 2, they will bring Madison in as a big bad, like you've suggested.
Oh, that would be amazing. I'm telling you that, like, I will take back every horrible, I didn't say horrible things, every bad thing I said about Madison if they make her a big bad in TWD Prime. And make her awful like Jadis. Like, just make her hate-worthy.
Jadis is pretty awful.
Yeah. Yeah, but, like, I kind of love to hate her at this point. Like, don't get me wrong, Pauline is, like, a great actress, and don't hate her on Twitter or other social media. But it's Jadis that I hate.
Right. We have to remember this is not a documentary, right?
Nope.
So the other thing is Lauren Cohan. We still don't know what's happening with her.
I'm so scared that she's leaving. I love her. And what's funny is the show that she's signed on to sounds amazing, and I will totally watch it, and not just because she's in it, but I really don't want to lose Maggie.
Well, didn't they? I thought I saw an article somewhere where they said she's not getting the money she's asking for, and she's not even asking for like the same amount as like.
Right, she's not asking for parity with Ritas or Lincoln. She's just asking for an increase.
I saw the same scuttlebutt.
I mean, she's been there since season 2, and you want to. You want to make her a big part of the story, leading the hilltop. So, I'm just
we always go back to the source material. Of course, now that means absolutely nothing since Carl's dead.
Yeah.
But she's a big character in the books. So
if she leaves, I wonder if they're going to give that story to someone else. Like, would they give like Carol leadership of the hilltop?
Would it be kind of a cool turn if they gave Jesus leadership of the hilltop?
No. I'm so mad at Jesus right now.
So Jesus take the wheel? Okay.
Jesus does not save.
That is hilarious. Both of you are hilarious. I'm so mad at Jesus right now.
I don't have a friend in Jesus. We could just keep doing this all night.
So that's kind of my stuff for the Whisperer's Corner. I think we've got some interesting things developing, and hearing the guys on Walker Stalker just talk about how incredible Fear is going to be. I was like, really? Finally, 4 seasons in, I'm going to stop hate watching this and actually start getting into it? I hope so.
Because they're completely changed directions, maybe?
Right.
Yeah. the whole flashback series didn't work because they really didn't show the origins of the zombie apocalypse or
Exactly.
I also heard a rumor that there's going to be like even more spin-off properties than just Fear.
That doesn't shock me. I think they're going to milk this cow until it's dry.
Well, wouldn't you? You don't have a moon there too, do you, by any chance?
And I made a lot of money in Atlantic City. And
That'll work.
All right.
I'm sorry, everyone. I brought this shit
like
out.
Fools. Oh my god. No, it's hilarious.
Oh, strap in. It's going to be a long day, people.
Or as Betty Davis would say, it's going to be a bumpy night.
That was Mae West, wasn't it?
No, it was Betty Davis.
I thought it was Mae West. And
Nope.
I thought you were saying Betty White.
Bumpy night. Although it could be Betty White.
She's older than sliced bread. So did you see the other little tidbit that's going to happen on The Walking Dead? We are getting our first totally nude zombie.
No way.
That's what they're saying.
It's kind of about time. It makes sense.
I don't know how we're going to do that.
Well, I mean...
Strategically placed guts?
Everything's kind of sagging and decaying, so you're not going to really be able to tell what it is.
Yeah. I mean, but like this from like they just used their first F word.
They're emboldened.
Well, don't they get like 1 or 2 a season though?
I think they
Yes,
get
they
2.
get 2.
F word?
Yeah.
So now maybe there's going to be like a 1 nudity clause every season now or something.
There you go. And they have to start out with zombies.
And the funny thing is I don't know why they're only getting the 2 a season because I'm a fan of the show The Magicians on Sci-Fi, or Sippy, that I like to call it. But The Magicians just started not bleeping or editing the F word. They are full on F word all the time.
Right on. My kind of people.
Well,
Okay.
I think one time I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, that like all these cable channels, they can use whatever kind of language they want, but I think a lot of them are just afraid of losing sponsors.
Oh, that makes sense.
probably trillions.
So, but I mean, they're actually advertising that the show is no longer bleeping the F word at all anywhere. And if you're a fan of the show, if you've ever watched the show, you know that the characters are very snarky. They're very, they don't censor themselves at all. I love Margot. I want to say in a world full of whatevers, be a Margot. But yeah, so I thought it was really interesting that a show like a show like The Walking Dead, where we see in episode 1 a little girl get her brains blown out, that we can't say the F word, but
and we
other
see a
places are doing
teenager
it.
commit suicide after he's bit.
Yeah,
Right?
but now we're gonna see a nude zombie. So.
Well, do you think it's maybe it's like a gimmick to try to get those on? I mean, the numbers are still good, but try to get them up to like what they used to be.
I just think all the female walkers, maxi dresses and sundresses are so
Are
tattered.
finally rotting off.
They're rotting off. Yeah. If I see one more female walker in a skirt, I get it. Like, women wear skirts. We all wore skirts on the day that the world ended. And like florally, like full length skirts too. So they're all tattered and dirty at the bottom.
Yeah, where's those cute little skirts like the one I bought the other day, man?
Welcome to Fashion Corner.
My walker's gonna be in like a pair of sweats and a hoodie. Or space pants.
What the hell are space pants?
Oh, the first time all three of us podcasted live on Capes and Lunatics, I was wearing a pair of stretchies that had like galaxies on them.
Yeah. Okay, I remember those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Space pants.
I was totally going back to parachute
zombie,
pants.
I want to be wearing my space pants.
When you think about it, I mean, the world should have come to an end like on Halloween. Can you imagine all those people like walking around in like costume and stuff?
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
It only makes common sense.
Phil should have never shown me that app.
Oh, that's you. I thought that was Dianne for.
I thought it was you.
So. No, that's all me. All the time.
God, that's hilarious. I totally thought it was Phil. Oh my God.
That was a Marnell.
That was Phil, but I wish it were me.
Oh my God, it's like the battling soundboards. I love this.
It is. That's hilarious.
So, anything else for the Whisperer's Corner, or should we finally launch into our good, bad, and ugly?
I don't know. I think we should just keep doing dueling soundboards.
I'm pausing. I'm waiting.
What do you think, Internet? Although maybe Marnell's too young to remember that.
Yeah.
Oh,
probably.
no. I totally remember dial-up. Get off the phone! I'm on the internet! All right. I
It's
think
time for
Phil
good, bad,
should
and
go
ugly.
first with his goods.
All right.
Show us your goods, Phil.
You have to say that.
Okay. Like good. Even though I thought it was long and drawn out, I did like the Carl story. I did like the send off, even though I don't know. Like I said, it was long and dragged out, and I felt they said the same thing numerous times. But, but I mean, it was emotional. It had impact.
You know, I've heard a lot.
Made me almost tear up.
I've heard a lot of people say that this is The Walking Dead that they have missed. That they've missed these emotional, like, stories that kind of hook you in and make you cry your eyes out. So I think that it's gotten a lot of positive reviews because of that.
Okay, sidetrack. Did you guys see the controversy over the Judith crying?
No.
Full-blown hashtag on Twitter. So, like, people were so bummed out about the baby actor Judith. They were like, she has a completely blank stare, and they put a baby crying soundtrack over it, and they were like, it was awful. And it
was so fake, yeah.
Was it really? I totally missed it.
Okay, so I missed it first watch.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, she was like blank face, and all of a sudden she turned around, and it was just like all of a sudden, it's like no build up. It's just
full on baby cry, not like toddler cry.
I totally didn't realize that they like just pasted a soundtrack over a blank face baby. I totally missed that. Two watches, and I totally missed that.
Well, I read the article and then I did my rewatch, and plus people have posted the video of that like 8 seconds or whatever it was, because I mean it is very quick. It's a very minor, thing that people chose to harp on, but like once it's pointed out to you, you're like, yeah, that does kind of suck. It's kind of like the green screen from like 1 or 2 seasons ago that people were harping on.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like once it's pointed out to you, you can't unsee it.
What, Rick standing on top of the trash pile?
Yes. Oh god, that was horrible.
Actually, I was talking about there was an episode where like the other side of the doorway was like you could tell. I mean, it was seriously like they were projecting an image on a canvas or something. It was awful.
Oh no, I just remember exactly what Phil is talking about, the trash heap. It was
Yeah,
just horrid.
I had blocked
and
that
the deer.
out.
Remember the deer?
No.
It was at the amusement park.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On
The
date
worst
night, yeah.
CGI deer ever.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was your good, Phil. What was your good?
I the Carl story, even though it was kind of long and drawn out.
Okay.
What's yours, Marn?
Mine is very similar. And it makes sense. I looked up this song. It's called "I'm Wide Awake" by Bright Eyes.
Oh, it's actually not "I'm Wide Awake" because I IMDb'd it. It is called
"I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning."
No. It's called "At the Bottom of Everything."
Is it?
Yeah.
Phil, sort this one out for us.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right,
Google,
hold on.
quick.
I've got it in my Shazam. I'm totally gonna do this thing if I can.
Shazam!
Shazam!
It came out in 2005, which makes sense because that's right around the time the world ended, right? But I had never actually heard it, and I really like this song. And I really liked the whole montage of Carl getting to live out his last day and kind of making the best of it. You know, none of us have a ticking clock.
Meet her fiance sailing high above the largest
was that?
ocean on
What the F, man?
That's not me.
That's totally supposed to be at the bottom of everything. It's supposed to be that song. So now I'm gonna have to totally download it and fast forward it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called "I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning."
No, I don't think so. Keep talking while I'm loading. I don't think so.
So I really liked that, none of us have a ticking clock over our heads that's counting down to our death. So none of us know how much time we have left. But Carl was afforded that foreknowledge. He knew that he was very limited, and so he made the best of it. He hung out with Judith and did the handprints and the picture, and he wrote letters to, goodbye letters to people, and he spent a moment in the sun. And I really liked him being able to live his best last day. I really liked the song that went along with it. So that was my good. So mine was very similar to Phil's in that, it was a really good send off for Carl,
Okay. So I'm totally going to fast forward.
you very, 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 very much. And then he starts humming this little tune and
Okay, maybe I'm totally wrong. What did you say the song was called?
It's called "I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning."
That's like the name of the album.
Morning.
I'm such a loser. I'm sorry. I'm totally obsessing about this now.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see if we can post it to the Biters page when the episode publishes.
I'm not sure that I'm totally convinced. But anyway, I agree with you. I think Carl really made the most of his day. And that was super cool.
What's your good?
What's my good? My good is actually Michonne. So I thought Michonne as grieving mom was really awesome. And that moment where Carl said, "You're my best friend," just totally killed me.
Okay.
They should have had like a Carl and Michonne montage and just be like, play that song. Let me tell you about my best friend.
Oh.
Like I said, I'm pretty much dead inside, aside from pharmaceuticals. But I almost had a feeling when he's like, "You're my best friend," and she's like, "You're mine too." I was like, oh, I almost had a feeling. Yeah, that was the part that got me. It was like, I think Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was strong stuff. Marnell almost had a human emotion.
I know, right?
I was gonna tell her next time take more pharmaceuticals.
That was the close one. Oh.
So that was my good. It just was Michonne. I loved her. I thought she was great in this episode. It was really heartbreaking. I really felt like she really was his mom. And I felt like she was losing her little boy all over again.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember how broken up she was when she talked about Andre?
Oh, man. I need more pharmaceuticals.
Because you're starting to feel something again, aren't
I'm
you?
starting to feel something. God, I'll have to settle for wine. So, Phil, will I drown my emotions? What was your bad? That was not me. That was Phil's soundboard. Probably.
Sure.
Probably.
No, that was the wine.
I totally believe it was you, Marnell.
My bad. I don't know, that whole thing at the kingdom. I mean, just what are we doing with Morgan? Is this just an excuse to ship him off to Fear? And
Totally.
I don't know, the whole Henry thing.
That's where they lost my point too, was Gavin over and over again being like, I didn't want to do this.
Okay, so was all of our bads like Gavin and the whole kingdom?
No, actually no.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm just weighing in because I think you guys are right.
Yeah. Cause my bad was I really don't like the Gavin died.
Really?
I don't know. I for some reason I have a weird soft spot for the Saviors now. Like all of them but Gregory, and he's not technically a savior. God, what's the other guy's name that I absolutely love? The one that's torturing Maggie.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but he's
Stephen
really
Ogg.
funny.
I can't remember his
Simon.
character name.
Simon.
So, I love Simon, but Gavin was kind of intriguing in that he was just a broken man. Like,
he was the reluctant savior.
Yeah, he was just like, just go with it, dude. This is as good as it gets. Don't try and raise your stock in life and just like keep your head down. Like, I'm just like, you're sad. So
Don't you think he misread Ezekiel though? Because he was saying that was one of the things that he liked about Ezekiel was that he accepted his lot.
Yes. I think he thought that Ezekiel thought the same way he did, but Ezekiel was really just trying to keep his people safe and biding his time, waiting for his moment. I don't think he ever subscribed to the I am Negan, we are the saviors, just keep on the path, But I kind of want to know more about Gavin to how he got where he is, because Stephen Ogg's character, he's still got a little bit of fight in him. But Gavin was just like, no, just accept it, dude. Yeah, I'm kind of upset at his death.
Yeah, he's got a nice gash in his neck now, so I don't think you're going to get his backstory.
No. But I believe that Ezekiel would have given him a second chance and welcomed him back in.
I do too.
Welcomed him into the fold.
I do too.
And I think he would have done well. He kind of seems like a follower, and I think he could have totally gotten into the whole King Ezekiel thing and, being a kingdomer.
I don't know.
I think he's just go along to get along, but I kind of want to know how he got there. I mean, you don't survive 2 years into the zombie apocalypse by not having a little bit of fight in you. And he must have just joined up with Negan early on, and it was just like, this dude's keeping me alive. Let's just go with it.
Well, don't you think that's how a lot of people ended up being saviors?
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
Certainly the people who are the workers are like, we had a deal. You keep us safe and we work for you.
Yep. And the people in the higher up, Simon, are And Eugene also, or just like, well, we get a lot more perks when we're up here, you know? So yeah, it's a good way to control people. And yeah, so I think it's funny. Phil and I have a lot of the same goods and bads.
So did we cover yours, Phil, completely? Or do you guys have more to say about your bads?
No, I think that's about it for mine.
So mine was what you brought up earlier, which is who gets Carl's arc. Because we know that he has this ginormous arc that is not finished in the comic book, so who gets it? And I'm like, I kind of feel like there are a handful of people who have the potential to get it. I think it could be Enid. I think it could be Sadiq. I think it could be Henry, and I think, God, who else? There was one more person on my list.
My prediction was Daryl because, oh yeah, my prediction was Daryl because he's not in the comic books at all, so he could easily step into the role.
Yeah, but do you want like a kid, like someone younger for that role? I mean, it could be Judith, the way she's aging.
Right. I think it's going to be somebody younger. And at this point, my bet is actually on Sadiq, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, who saw Carl's death coming 2 seasons ago?
Not me.
Anything could happen. Nobody is safe.
Got too big.
No.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally, he's just too tall now.
I mean, well, they're going to have to do something with Sadiq, because if they don't give him something big, they're going to be like, oh, wait, Carl died for nothing.
Sadiq actually has something of an arc in the comic book, but it's not huge.
Right.
So I think they're actually going to make his arc a lot bigger.
And I maintain that he died for nothing. Like, I really, really hoped he was going to go out, taking out a bunch of saviors all at once. In my fever dream, I imagined that everyone would get out of Alexandria via the storm drain sewer tunnel thingy. And Carl would be waiting there for the saviors to discover that's how everyone got out. He'd lure them all down there, and then he'd just explode the thing on everyone.
Yeah, but I don't think you can do that though, because his whole thing with Rick and everything was like, we need to start rebuilding a society.
Very good point.
Well, just like Negan says, people are a resource. Did you notice that, like, Rick and Negan are kind of on the same page?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've been comparing them all along, and it's true, they are.
In Carl's fantasy, Negan's part of the group now.
Did you see I snuck in a spoiler for you, Marnell? You were like, that night, you were like, don't spoil it. And I was like, yeah, Carl's an alien. You're like, oh, yeah, really? And I said, yeah, and Negan turns out to be a gardener. And you're like,
I did not catch that. That is hilarious.
And he's so happy. He's so happy to see little Lady Judith.
So it's funny when they were showing Negan bent over the tomato plants, there is a movie that I cannot remember the name of it, the Last Supper, I think, or something like that.
Oh, God, that is such a good movie.
Cameron Diaz
got Ron
in the
Perlman
90s.
In it.
Yes. So these people these roommates start killing people and burying them backyard, and they were planting tomato plants, and so they have like dried tomatoes and tomato sauce and tomato paste and like tomato this and tomato that, like everywhere. And I was just like, wonder how many bodies are under those tomato plants that Negan's pruning.
So for anyone who is still listening, if you have not watched The Last Supper, it is totally macabre, it's totally hilarious, and Ron Perlman is awesome in that movie, so I highly recommend it.
Yes, definitely. What a weird callback. You're welcome.
Why does it always degenerate to like hiding dead bodies with you more now?
She really is the weirder of the two. People don't believe that, but it's really true.
I'm the one who got Dianne to be a murderino, which my favorite murder podcast.
And The Walking Dead. I would not be watching The Walking Dead if it hadn't been for you.
That's true. And as Karen and Georgia would stay out of the woods. We have so many places to bury a body, and you don't even need to do that. You just need to feed them to the crabs.
It's totally true. A crab pot will dispose of just about anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could be Dexter up here. You guys wouldn't know it.
But I have to tell you both that my favorite threat, and I actually used this periodically when we handled sled dogs for a friend of ours. So her husband is, I'm trying to keep this G-rated, Rob, not a nice person. And I used to say to him, you know what? We live along like 5 miles of river, and sled dogs will eat anything. No one will miss you. No one.
Yep.
Because you can seriously boil down anything.
Welcome to the newest episode of Biters, or as it'll be known in a few months, Exhibit A.
People's Exhibit A.
We're not
Diane's
nice girls.
Just FYI, Diane's the one with a dog food cooker. So
right?
That can break down any meat or bone. Yep.
And I've still got enough dogs that we could make it worth our while.
Oh, that's funny.
And from that, maybe we should go on to our uglies.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Phil, your turn.
I have like two. I don't know how to decide between the two. I don't know.
Oh, go
between
ahead.
Between the flashbacks and it looked like Rick's wearing like a beard and hair wig made of like cotton balls, which I know calls back to the comic book.
So you're saying this is a bad ugly?
What?
You're saying this is a bad ugly, not a good ugly?
Yeah, some of the makeup.
I think he's saying ugly.
I don't know. Yeah, let's go with that.
Marn, what about you?
Mine's a good ugly. Okay, so we talked about not really enjoying the whole Kingdom arc, but I really liked the Morgan Carol team up.
Right.
Because those are two characters that we've ranted about before where they don't want to kill anyone and they're being wishy-washy and blah, blah, blah. And no. This was the I'm going to swear, Rob, this is the badass team up buddy cop movie we've all been waiting for.
And you're right. They're not wishy-washy anymore.
Nope. Like, Morgan sharpened that one end of his stick and Carol's like, let's get this done. You know, we're going to pull intestines out of a dude. We're going to create a diversion over here and we're going to break down the set on the stage over here and shoot everyone. Yeah. I really liked them as a lethal pair.
Marnell's just like murder, mayhem.
Fantastic.
Oh, God. I think we may have to have you two on this conversation, Rox, if nothing else, for your dueling soundboards.
I'll have to get a better soundboard than just Trumpism.
I don't know. So it seems to be all we're doing these days.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
Oh, God, Phil, your comedic timing is the best.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
Oh, and this is where we are. Di, what was your ugly?
So my ugly was actually, you guys have already kind of talked about it, but it was Carl, and it was the send-off, and I just, him saying goodbye to Judith, even though the crying baby hashtag was totally lost on me, was really sad. When he was like, Mom said I was going to beat this world, and I didn't, but you will. I know you will. I was like, whoa! And then when Rick was kissing him on the head and telling him how much he loved him, I was like, whoa! So that, I thought that the makeup job that they did on Chandler Riggs was really good. Like, he really looked bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too.
And I thought, Marn, what you brought up about him just kind of making the most of his day and making all of those memories was really cool.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
That's
was right.
My good ugly. And now I smell rotting presidential potpourri.
Let's go and do it.
Oh. So, writing the coattails of Carl's best last day, I not only was I disappointed that like he didn't go out like taking out a bunch of saviors, I was a little upset at him shooting himself.
No,
and
I loved that.
He's sparing his father and Michonne
I
from
get
having to
it.
do
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that poor little baby boy was trapped with his mom giving birth to Judith, and he had to put a bullet in her head. I really think that it was Rick's turn. Like,
But the other thing is, and this is, so maybe I'm just totally into this whole Buddhist, I have to take care of myself to be a good person thing. You've heard me say it probably a million times now, but you cannot hate yourself into becoming a better person. Carl said it has to be someone you love. So that's like the ultimate...
It's not about me.
That's the ultimate expression of Carl, like, embracing himself and embracing who he was.
But it was also the full expression of Rick once again not having to do the dirty work. Like,
but Carl took it out of his hands. I am not going to hold Rick responsible for this one.
Carl is supposed to be a little boy. Like, it should have been up to Rick. Like, I have
feelings hating on Rick.
If it was anyone else, Rick would have did it, but just because it was his son, Carl didn't want him to have that picture in his head. Because, I mean, he put down Sophia when she returned.
Right.
And Michonne put down, her family members when they turned. So,
I mean, if we needed someone to kill kids, I mean, Carol's always there.
Right? They totally had the wrong person in the room.
Absolutely.
I mean, he wouldn't have got the request out of his mouth fully before Carol was like,
BAM!
Look at the flowers, Carl.
So the other thing was, and somebody pointed out online that it could be because everyone was fearing for their own lives, but it just seemed like everyone in the sewers was very like, oh, Carl got bit. That's too bad. Bye, Carl.
Right.
Like,
they were totally like, peace out, man.
Yeah, they were just like, what? Okay, Carl got bit. What do we do next? Like, where are we going? Look, we got to get this show on the road. We move this thing along. Like, I was like, really? Like, I mean, Daryl kind of gave kind of a forlorn look, but like nobody else really gave Carl a second look. I'm just, it didn't sit right with me. And I get it. They were down there for a while before Rick and Michonne got there. Maybe they got their goodbyes out before that. And like I said, I read where they were like, everyone else is kind of fearing for their own lives, listening to Alexandria explode above them. So, but I'm like, it didn't sit right.
I think they were afraid of being discovered, and plus, they've been down there for a while. I mean, I know they didn't have a choice, but that's probably not the most sanitary of conditions, especially if anyone with open wounds.
Ugh.
I was just thinking about all the people who didn't really say anything. Like Rosita didn't really say anything. Tara didn't really say anything.
Tara, yeah. And we see in the trailer for season 8B where there's a shot of Enid just screaming no.
You mentioned that last week.
And so I'm kind of thinking they get to Kingdom and they have to break it to Maggie and Jesus and Enid and everybody. And of course, Enid has to, of course, come back from Oceanside. But I think that's where it's really going to set in for me, Carl's death and everything. We were expecting this. And I think that's why I didn't have any feelings, other than being completely dead inside. I think that's what's going to get me is them having to break it to the people that he didn't get to say goodbye to.
That was an awfully big stack of letters. Who else? So we know Enid, we know Michonne, we know Dad,
Judith.
Yeah.
Judith.
Unless he wrote one to everybody, you know, maybe Daryl has one, Carol has one.
It was
maybe
a pretty
Maggie.
big stack of letters.
I hope Negan has one.
You know, he might. Wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be awesome.
Wow.
That would be awesome. Yep.
Do you like tomatoes?
Again, with the comedic timing. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I've been bogarting the rotting potpourri. Does anyone else have anything?
You're the second person I've heard use that expression, bogarting. Like today. And I had to look at the other person and say, what does that mean? I feel so stupid.
Well, it's actually because I'm secretly stalking you. And I have
You're
minions.
Alexa.
I have
You're
minions.
Amazon Alexa.
This is why I'm leaving my current job. I would like to announce that I am building an evil empire and I am recruiting minions. So being a supervillain's exhausting. So no, I got it.
See a minion laugh.
Banana. So I got it from Buffy years and years ago.
Well,
so
you know, Curtis may well have also. I'm not sure where he got it from. I'll have to ask him. But I totally looked at him and was like, what?
No, I've been hogging all the time in the rotting potpourri.
Well, so I'm taking us back to the song that is still under dispute. So I loved the lyric that said, "Death will give us back to God just like the setting sun."
Yes.
That lyric played a couple of times while they were showing Carl, like, having the sun on his face and seeing him kind of just making his peace with himself as he's looking in the mirror and looking at his bite.
Yep.
And the callback to him sharing the big cat with Sadiq. Remember when he and Michonne shared that?
Mm-hmm.
That was her favorite candy bar and his favorite too.
I actually don't remember that.
It's from when they're walking along the railroad tracks and being goofy.
Yeah, I remember the cereal. But now that you say that, I remember that scene.
So more than anything, it was just that song, but just the whole day, Carl's whole day was actually really cool. Yes, I know I'm hearkening back to my ugly, but
it's all right. It's the last time we get to talk about Carl, probably.
Right. Until he comes back in a white dress, somebody said. So the thing that I had that was the thing that kind of locked into what you were saying, Phil. I have to get to the right page. Sorry, you're going to hear me turning pages. So Morgan is paralleling Carl. Morgan dies as Carl dies. Like, Morgan is really, truly dying a death.
Like the death of, like, the good man inside him.
I think so. I mean, he's somehow losing a part of himself that I don't think we're going to see come back, not even in Fear. And so they were really paralleling that scene of him just losing it with Carl dying. And at first I thought, you know, it's Gavin paralleling Carl. And then I was like, no, it's Morgan paralleling Carl.
It's the death of innocence.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and you know, if you look at the synopsis for the episode, it says something about Carol urges Morgan to spare Gavin's life. Morgan is overwhelmed and tears up.
But he kept saying, I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, you know, with Henry killing Gavin, it's kind of a parallel to Carl killing that kid and talking about killing that kid back at the prison.
Mhm.
Well, and it's really well juxtaposed to Carl having grown up, like he says,
Mhm.
and going, we shouldn't kill everyone. We need to make peace. We need to, there needs to be a better future than this. And Henry being at the stage that Carl was at the prison, I thought that was a really good juxtaposition.
Yes. And
There's our word.
Kirk would be very proud of you for using the word juxtaposition.
Shout out to Kirk. Oh.
Let's see what. Oh, so the other thing is Carl is talking about his dream sequence or his fantasy about how it could be, which we finally learn where Old Man Rick comes in and kind of what that's all about. But I thought it was really interesting. In this episode, Carl says that's how it could be, as opposed to the title of the last episode, which is How It's Gotta Be.
Right. Because, yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah.
Oh, you know who else was in that dream sequence we didn't talk about besides Negan? Eugene, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I still secretly hope for Eugene's redemption just because I love the Texas top hat. Like,
but I don't think Eugene wants to be redeemed. I think it's going to have to be something big to turn him around because I don't know if it's because he feels so badly about himself and the path that he's chosen or he's just given up on everything. But I don't think he would take the opportunity. So far, he hasn't.
He's a coward. He's going to go where he's,
Which lends to my theory that the Negan of the comic books is not going to be the Negan of the show because Jeffrey Dean Morgan isn't just going to hang around to make cameos from a cellar cell in Alexandria.
And if they're not going to pay Lauren Cohan, they're not paying a Jeffrey Dean Morgan for another couple seasons. No. So you think it's going to be Eugene in the cell then?
No, well, I think Negan's gonna die, and if they don't kill off Eugene, I think that's gonna be the turning point where he's gonna be like, "All right, I did this bad thing because this guy was really persuasive, but who hasn't?"
Bad boys can be persuasive, huh, Marnell?
Oh
It's
man,
the
you know her
jacket.
well.
It's the jacket. Oh, the only jacket, white T-shirt with the scarf. The only thing it's missing is a little bit of chest hair.
So Fonzie.
Oh God, that's hilarious! I'm totally gonna find some Fonzie bling for you now, man.
Oh.
So I guess the only other thing that I had in writing potpourri is what is up with the ending scene? I mean, my husband looked at me and he was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "I got nothing."
So this is red-eyed, reflective Rick. And it's obviously not current Rick. And it kind of, okay, so was that his blood on his hands? Because he looked like he was wounded.
Right.
Or was that somebody else's blood on his hands?
I have no idea.
And he's whispering the whole, "May my mercy prevail over my wrath." And he just looks gone. And so is this another fake flash forward? Because it's funny, the Rick in Carl's fantasy has a limp. Why would Carl fantasize his dad has a limp and a cane? I mean, yeah, I guess it's supposed to represent old man Rick, and maybe he does, but like it looks more like a battle wound limp than anything. And so I'm just wondering if that ties together somehow, because it really, really did look like there was. And it's funny because he was shot in the side.
I was just going to say he got shot in the
Jadis.
hip by Jadis, so it could be like long-term
re-injury?
stuff.
But he's been jogging in the Atlanta heat, and like that hasn't ripped any of his stitches. So unless somebody shoots him again or tries to pull his intestines out, like I don't know what's going on with that last scene.
I don't know if it's just like if there's a deeper meaning. I just thought it was like a shout out to the comic book because that's kind of how he looks now. And I'm trying to remember. I think he has like a cane and a limp. So I didn't know if that was just like a big shout out. Yeah. Although I don't see them doing that on the show. They're going to green screen that every week. I don't think.
Yeah, and that's exactly
Kirkman
what it
did say it was one of his biggest regrets.
Oh yeah, doing it so early in the comic book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think doing it at all to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
So, should we do a comic book spoiler?
Sure, why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
spoiler in 3, 2, 1. So I was listening to another podcast and was reminded that the way that the whole Negan thing actually plays out in All Out War is that...
Because of Carl.
No, it's that Rick slits Negan's throat, but Negan survives. And so I'm wondering if maybe it's Negan's blood on his hands and him saying, "May my mercy prevail over my wrath," is him allowing Negan to survive that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he does slit the throat, and then he's about to let him die, and he hears Carl's voice or whatever saying,
Right.
Good one.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but that's what I was thinking after I was reminded of that scene in the comic books.
And just to go further out on that limb, maybe Sadiq is the one that sews up Negan's neck.
Oh, good one.
Because Carl would want him to, yeah.
Right,
Yep.
because he's honoring Carl.
But I still maintain Negan dies.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think maybe he'll die of an infection in 2 months after his throat is slit.
Look, I'm going to spoil something, okay? The fact that Uma Thurman didn't die after having epinephrine injected directly into her heart in Pulp Fiction, Negan's not going to die of an infection. Sorry, that was always something that I hated about Pulp Fiction. I had a friend who just loved that, my friend Todd, actually, and I looked at him, and I looked at that scene, and I said, she's going to be dead of sepsis in a week.
Spoiler alert.
Right?
Well, I'm pretty sure that she's like a superhuman because she teaches herself to walk in a few hours after being in a coma for 6 years.
Right.
So.
Well, that was Kill Bill. That was a different movie.
Yeah, no. But she just kind of always seems to play that character that can survive anything.
Kind of like Rick.
Yep. And maybe Negan.
Oh, we're not going to hear it as much anymore. Coral.
Right? We're not going to... I don't think we're going to hear it at all anymore.
Well, I mean, he might mention the next couple episodes. He might, when he's telling people what happened to Carl.
Gotta tell Judith how great her older brother was.
Her brother Coral.
Coral.
Gonna have some pudding in honor of Coral.
Oh, there you go. Well, guys, I don't think I have anything else. Do you?
No?
I
think we wrapped this one up.
All right. Well, just remember... Take it. One. Dead.
Day.
At a time.
Right before you hit record, I was like, oh, we should have practiced. One dead day at a time.
It's so much better when it's chaotic and ridiculous.
Look, I've been working 13-hour days, 7 days a week.
That's right.
Phil, you have created a monster.
Oh, don't blame me.
No, you're right. The monster was created long before you came into the picture.
It only makes common sense.
Oh my God.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. But there's no better word than stupid.
She's a monster.
I have the best
She's a total
word.
Monster. All right.
We've totally lost everyone at this point.
We have totally lost everyone, especially Thomas and Brian.
Spooky Chef. I almost said creepypasta. God. That's not right.
All right, you guys, let's wrap it up.
All right.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really hilarious.
Oh, thank you. You know I love talking to you.
Awesome.
Both of you.
Yes. We, I mean, other than the Biters podcast, it sounds like the three of us are going to try and go in on a Infinity Wars review.
I'm totally down for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to put together a roundtable for the Capes and Lunatics podcast. And
yeah, where can they find you, Phil?
oh, why, thank you. On the Capes and Lunatics podcast and our second podcast, the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, because we put out so much stuff, we ran out of room on one podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
And now he wants to podcast with the Biters, so he is just a podcasting machine.
It's all good, man.
I don't know
It's
if I could podcast with you both on a regular basis, especially you, Marnell. I might end up as like a strange smell in the basement or something.
I would never do that to you, Phil.
Oh,
You're
please
a good
let me win
guy.
that bet. Let me win that bet.
You know what? Even if you haven't won that bet, you've already won because we're going to make it happen.
Oh, yeah. And it's a thing now. It's a thing.
All right, you guys. I'm going to wrap this up for our listeners, so have a good night.
Have a good night.
We'll talk to you next week.